Happy Passover! Welcome back to my channel, everybody. It is Passover, and you are here to watch me cook up a beautiful Passover feast. So let's just jump right in, shall we? I'm going to be making some carrot salad. So we've got some shredded carrots, raisins. I'm putting in a little bit of vinegar, and then I'm going to be using vegan mayonnaise. My daughter is a vegan, so I tried to make as many of the salads with vegan mayonnaise as possible. I also got started on a cake, and that is gluten-free. All right, let's see what I'm doing now. Cutting up some vegetables, and I'm not really sure. Let's see. I'm using my herbs. Those are some Passover herbs that I got from Amazon. They were delicious, and that syrup I had never used before. What I had done earlier is I had put my big roast into the oven while I started working on these other things. So I cut up some vegetables, and then, let's see, I got started on a broccoli salad, which I put olive oil and vinaigrette on. On the oven, you saw my pot earlier. So I had some water boiling. Yeah, hi. And I am getting started on cutting carrots, celery, and onion because I need to make my stock for my matzo ball soup. Normally, I would have like regular chicken broth with my soup, but because my daughter is vegan, I needed to make sure that she would be able to eat it as well. And anything that I was using that had egg in it, like the matzo balls or the Latkes, I actually was using egg substitute so that she could eat everything. So this is me chopping up some celery. Not too fine, but we do kind of like our soup, just a little bit chunky. And I'm going to put that into the pot. I also put in my chicken flavoring, which is completely parve. Man, it was starting to smell good in there. All right, then I got started on something else. What is it that I'm doing? Okay, I cut up a bunch of potatoes, and I was using my Galilee garlic herbs. I was gonna sprinkle on there, which I did. And let me tell you, those herbs were just so delicious. If you guys can, see if Amazon still has this 3-pack because these herbs were just spectacular. I coated the potatoes with some olive oil and made sure I got the herbs all coated on them as well, and put them into the oven at 350 degrees.
It's getting a little hot in the kitchen, so I had to open the kitchen door and let some air in. But I'm doing my thing. I love to cook, especially for my family. And since I've got everybody coming in, I'm going to make this like a huge feast. Huge Sabbath Passover feast. So that's what I'm doing. So I cut up some eggs, and I'm not sure if I'm going to double them or not. I'll have to see if I get to it. And I am also working on my apples because I have to make my horset. And that is to represent the mortar that the Jews used to make all those bricks. So I'm going to put some manischewitz in here, put some raisins, and make it really good and sweet and tangy. I might have to make a bigger bowl than just this little thing because we've got quite a few people. I think I have just enough manischewitz in this bottle here. Oh no! I'm out of manischewitz. Just kidding. I have the economy size.
In between what I was cooking in the kitchen, I started setting up my Seder table. I got out our books. Everybody gets a book for our Seder, and this goes through the story of the Exodus and how the Jews were freed from slavery. I was making dinner cleanup very easy with our Passover paper plates.
It's only a little past noon and I'm already getting tired. When the potatoes come out, I might have to take a little nap and recharge before I cook the rest.
They are looking so good. Smell so good. They need a little bit longer and then they'll be done.
Even though I have made a carrot salad, I'm gonna do some roasted carrots because I've got my beautiful rainbow carrots again. They are so delicious. And I was trying to figure out what to do with this date syrup. The last time I put maple syrup on these carrots and some parsley and they were absolutely delicious. So I think we should try our date syrup this time. Pop this open. Just try a little bit. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Yeah, that's definitely going on my carrots. Okay, just drizzled that beautiful goodness. Get some of that off. It's okay, we'll just do this. It's like licking the bowl. That tastes so good. How have I not known about this stuff? Get yourself some. My kitchen looks like dung. That means I'm doing something right. Right, Mom? These potatoes look fantastic. And I put my glazed carrots in the oven. And now I'm going to be working on my gefilte fish. This is the first time I've had gefilte fish that hasn't come out of a jar. So I'm not entirely sure how to cook it. Hopefully it's got instructions. Yes, it does have instructions. Good. I need direction. I am getting ready to fix this gefilte fish, so I had to put my soup into another pot so that I could use this one because I don't have any others that are big enough for that. So when it said throw in your own herbs and spices, I don't know. I'm not really sure what you would put in there with gefilte fish, so I'm just guessing. I put a little bit of salt and I put fresh dill, so hopefully it turns out. This is going to take an hour and a half to simmer, yeah, to get cooked. Since my daughter is a vegan, I want her to have, you know, a meat substitute available, so I am going to be making her some tofu in I'm going to have a little bit of the garlic chili sauce. It is very hot but very good, so you don't need much. And I'm going to incorporate this lovely date syrup and probably tone it down a little bit with some sesame oil.
So while my gefilte fish was simmering, I started working on a meat substitute dish for my daughter. So I cut up some tofu and I set that aside for later. I wanted it to get firmed up in the refrigerator. The spices that I was using, I think I mentioned before, I put sesame seeds, a little bit of that garlic chili sauce mixed with the date syrup, and I did also use some sesame oil. I started on some dips for her with some vegan mayonnaise, some cream cheese, and then I added some vegetable soup mix. She says it tasted pretty good. I don't think it tasted all that, but she liked it, and that's all that matters. And then I was going to get started making an imitation seafood salad. This imitation crab is amazing, and finding the kosher kind, I don't find it that often, so I had bought a whole bunch of it and wanted to make a nice big bowl. I was using vegan mayonnaise. It's fish. I mean, my daughter's not eating it because it's fish, but I was still using vegan mayonnaise in everything. And I needed a little bit of onion, celery, mix it all together. Let me tell you what, that was the best imitation crab salad ever. So let's get started on that. First, we had to go ahead and crack that open. Each of those little crab legs were individually wrapped, so I had to unwrap them. I found these packs at Wegmans, and Wegmans also had imitation shrimp as well. I ended up buying a couple of packs of those, but they didn't end up making it to my house because I left them in my mom's freezer at the house that I sold. Oops. Oh yeah, that's me playing with food. Ooh, the dancing crab legs. Oh yeah, dance. Do, 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 do. Okay, yeah, we're done. I cut those bad boys in half, and then I got to shredding.
Wow, I have a crazy amount of shredded crab. Still needs to get shredded a little bit more. But honestly, I just had a Pretty Woman moment. Do you remember when Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman was in the restaurant eating escargot, and it just like flipped in the air and went somewhere, and the waiter caught it? So when I was shredding this, because I've been shredding with both my hands, a piece like flipped in the air and landed somewhere. I haven't found it yet. It's kind of like being in the movies. I took out my brisket and it looks absolutely fantastic. Can't wait.
I moved on to my next project. I needed to go ahead and make my Latkes. So I started with the onion. I use a grater, and every year I tell myself, don't grate your fingers, don't grate your knuckles, don't cut yourself. But guess what? Every year I end up grating my knuckles. I end up cutting myself. That's just part of cooking. But with the onion, I did okay. However, when I switched to the potatoes, yeah, that's when I ended up hurting myself because I switched over to the larger part of the grater, and that's typically what I catch myself on. I told myself, be very careful. Don't grade yourself. Don't do it. And yeah, of course, I did. Having blood in your food is not kosher, so I had to take care of myself before I started grating the potatoes again. But I did get it done.
My camera died, so while that was charging, I kept moving. I'm sorry. I went ahead and got all of my mix for my Latkes in a bowl. They are now sitting in the refrigerator. And I am getting ready my cholent, which is Jewish beef stew, for tomorrow. And because my daughter is vegan, what I'm doing is I'm taking a slow cook bag, and I've just put separate vegetables and broth and seasoning in it for her. So I'll be putting this on top of everything, and then it's gonna run all night long, and we'll have it for Sabbath lunch tomorrow.
This is my cholent, or Jewish beef stew, and there's no barley or beans in it this time because those are some of the ingredients that have been put away for Passover. I've been using the Just Egg, and as you guys can see, I'm using the gluten-free matzo ball mix. I used regular matzah for the matzo balls that everybody else was eating, but I wanted to make sure that she had some that she could eat. So I've got something else on the oven right there, as well as her tofu that I need to cook. And I started assembling my Seder plates and putting some things out. I put out the salt water. That represents the tears of the Jews during slavery. I've got my matzah ready to go. I had to assemble my Seder plates, but things were starting to come together. I went back into the kitchen to survey what I did have finished. My brisket was starting to look very picked at because I was standing there picking off pieces to eat, and it was absolutely delicious. It looked much better once I sliced it up. We had our carrots, our potatoes. Let's see. There was lots of stuff. My salads were done, so we have our carrot salad, and that was sitting in the refrigerator for a few hours, as well as our broccoli salad. My gefilte fish is done. I had cut up fruit, cut up vegetables, which are also called karpas, which were going to be used in our Seder ceremony. And I'm pointing to the bowl because I've got to get started on that matzo ball mix. So I'm starting on my daughter's, and with the egg substitute, it was kind of frustrating. It just didn't stick together.
It is 5:20, and I've been in the kitchen since like 8 this morning. I mean, I love it, but my feet hurt. I'm working on Julie's tofu, getting that fried. And I get to put my husband in a yarmulke.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
You baby.
So I have using some sesame oil. And after I get them fried up, I'm going to take them out. Make sure to get the grease off. I'm going to cover them in sesame seeds. And then I'm going to start on my sauce. Just put that on top. Let me make sure I got everything right. Looking good?
Yeah.
I just gotta finish those Latkes. So you guys have already seen my Passover flag. And our happy Passover signs. The kids are gonna be arriving very soon. Okay, got my dips. Got my Lucky mix. And get it out without spilling anything. Alright, and we've got my oil getting hot. These were very hard to make because of the egg substitute. It would not really keep them together, and they were very hard to flip. So I went ahead, I added an egg to the rest of the mix, and then I'm just separating the Latkes so that she can have her vegan ones here, and then we can have the ones that have all the ingredients in it because they hold together much better. All of my family is here, and we are about to get started. Okay, everybody. Happy Passover! Happy Pesach, everybody. We'll see you next time. Peace.